Start with the pledge, please.
Whenever Mike is ready.
I'm ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Where's the chair? I had to find the chair. New chair's got me thrown. It's got me thrown. Well, I want to welcome everybody to the zoning board for May 2002. Obviously, we haven't had a meeting in some time, but before we start, I want to, about the fire exits, if there's a fire, the stairs and the door there, no elevator, please. I was assuming Mary would be here. I knew that Harmon was not going to be here. So, at any rate, with that said, I'd like to approve the minutes from, I read them over twice today. I mean, it's been a while. I didn't really find anything myself.
I reviewed the minutes. Everything looks good to me.
The minutes are fine.
Yeah?
Yes.
So I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So the only thing we have on the agenda tonight is a new business. It's calendar number 122-CBA, an application for an area variance under zoning code 211.15, Bakar. And for full disclosure, he is a member of our zoning board, and he will not be here tonight. But in his stead, I believe he sent his architect, John Lentini. So if you would like to, do we have a mic for?
Yeah, is the podium?
Oh, right there, okay. Haven't been here so long.
Well, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, staff. I'm John Lentini, architect, representing the Baca residents. We're here seeking a variance determination on coverage for this property. I'm going to give you a little background. The historical photos from the county show that the pool and the house first appeared on these photos in 2000, and the pool appears pretty much like it is today. There was a patio also, but it was a smaller patio, and somewhere between 2018 and 2021, the patio was expanded. Now, I've measured this physically on the site, and I took a drone image, which I think is a little more comprehensive than my plan. I'd like to just hand you this. I'll have a digital copy for the public hearing,
Okay.
so it could be displayed. I thought I had done that already.
Thank you.
I've examined the work. It's done excellently. The quality is beautiful. The drainage is positive. I've been there after rain falls. There's no adverse rain condition. The coverage that's allowable is 30%, and my calculations show it is 37%. The pool is allowed to be 8%. My calculations show it as 9%. That I believe it always was. I wanted to first explore this board's ability to actually approve this type of application, and I'm not sure if I'm quoting the code right, but there's a section of the code 2011-36, existing non-conforming lots. Now, I'm assuming that includes the area of the lot, which this will now qualify. It's an existing non-conforming lot. And it states that this board is able to grant the variance if it meets 4 conditions. One of them creates more conditions, but condition 4 is that it's not located in a C1 or C2 or M district, which it's not. Condition 3 is that the proposed use, which is a one-family, is permitted, which it is. It also says that the proposed variance or variance will not reduce the requirement of 2011-15 by more than 25%. And then the first condition is that the applicant qualifies for variance under 211-39B. So I will go to this first before I come back to the 25%. Number one, that the variance requested is not substantial in relation to the requirement. I believe it's going to be the finding of this board. My opinion and belief is that is not substantial, and it's hardly detectable without measuring it. That the effect of any increased population density, which may thus be produced by this, I can't believe that this particular thing would increase the population. That a substantial change in the character of the neighborhood or a substantial detriment to adjoining properties will not be created. For the neighborhood in general, driving past the property, you would not ever see that this property potentially has more coverage than the next. A bird, however, you could see, would see it. But then the detrimental to other properties is what I particularly examined, in that it's relatively flat and the water just sheets, flows, and stays on his property. Fortunately for Buchanan, there's sewers, so there's not a septic system like in Cortland, where we're always concerned that impervious coverage will inundate the septic system. It's not the case here. Number 4 is that the difficulty cannot be alleviated by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than a variance. I wouldn't know what to take apart, but we would have to take apart a significant amount of square footage in order to make this feasible, and it all interfaces with the pool in the house. The driveway in the house and the walks were always there, so the only thing that we could affect is the patio, but it would be devastating. It would be just taking the patio away. Number 5, that the variation would not cause adverse aesthetic, environmental, or ecological impacts on the property or surrounding areas. I believe I touched on that. Number 6, that the requested variance is the minimum variance necessary to afford relief. Well, I've included in my calculations a couple of stepping stones and a few walls that if I were to take them out, we still don't comply, but it would be a little better. I don't know that that would serve any real purpose, but we could potentially grab a, I'm talking within the 200 square feet, maybe 100 of that. Maybe it doesn't even apply by some definitions, or interpretations, but I like to take the hard stand at this point rather than look like I'm trying to, cheat. But, okay, number 7, that in view of the manner in which the difficulty arose, and considering all of the above factors, the interest of justice will be served by allowing the variance. Well, the manner which this arose is that development unwittingly went past this area. It was never an intention to get away with anything, and I don't think that it was ever imagined that what was being done there would actually have this particular percentage problem. In my opinion, it wasn't done. It wasn't done on purpose. It was just everything fit. Everything met what was the pool. We met the pool, met the house. He had a permit for a door. We met the door going into the basement. Getting back to the 25%, and if I'm reading this correctly, 25% of 30% is 7.5%. So I'm offering that we're at 37%, which is under 37.5%. I believe that complies. And the pool, 8%, 1% of 8%, 2% of 8%, 25% of 8% would be 2%. That would be, we can be potentially as much as 10% until you would have a dilemma that you wouldn't even be able to prove it. So I'm thinking that we are underneath that factor as well.
Have you been out there and looked at this?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Yes.
I don't know whether any of your thoughts tonight or not, just or save them for the public hearing, but maybe in lieu of that, we might know where about you are when we're thinking about this for next month.
Primarily, everything is situated. It's an attractive scenario to the property. It was just barely visible that it was close to the amount of coverage that he has. And that's why I asked the owner to hire a professional.
I'm sorry, can you speak into?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's why I had asked the owner to hire a licensed professional to give me the actual calculations on it. But I don't see any adverse effect with the way the property is situated for drainage or any impact on the neighbors, surrounding neighbors. It's just an extended patio scenario, so to say, that connects one side to another, that encompass more of the coverage. Like as Mr. Lantini stated, with the parameters we have, he's still under the 7.5 and the 2, for that. But He's not impacting any of the neighbors that I could see, and I've monitored it.
So, I have one question. In the beginning, when you started talking, Mr. Lantini, you said something about it turned into a pre-existing non-conforming.
Well, it has become it's pre-existing and it's non-conforming. And I tried to find out how you get to existing non-conforming lots. And it would seem that this is an existing non-conforming lot now by the coverage. This particular thing could mean that it's a lot that doesn't meet simply the dimensions of the lot with no improvements on it, but it doesn't necessarily say that in the code. And then without this, I would have to go back to the town code, and there's several similar arguments to make that under the town code. Where it's self-created, as a use self-created, I don't believe you could even rule on it. But as an area self-created, you are permitted to rule on it. I just wanted to establish your ability to actually, to make a decision.
Well, who else would be able to make that decision?
I guess it would have to be denied and go to another court, but it's a losing position to be in, being self-created. We're at your mercy at the moment, so.
Just so I'm clear, the pool was, you said, put in 2000?
It appears on the first historical map in 2000.
And the applicant was the owner who put the pool in?
So I'm not certain. I didn't consult with him about this. I went by the records.
Okay.
Because of certain sensitivities here, I just decided to stay rather independent of that.
And the pool, when it was installed, is there permits in the file for the pool?
There was a permit in the file for the pool.
Okay. So it meets the requirements of the permit when the permit was put in?
At that time,
Like being
at that time.
like 3 years.
I'm sorry, Peter, when you speak to the mic. This is Marcus.
Sorry, Marcus.
Give me a complaint, they can't hear you, Peter.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Can you hear me now? It's on.
Yes, thank you.
You know,
Okay.
we would be there just like at night to shower and sleep and stuff. During the day, Charlie was working and Robert was at work.
Well, Marcus.
Arthur house for a little while.
You got background noise.
But, Marcus, thank you.
I'm sorry, I thought we had additional helpers. Well, I think Ed's right. I mean, if we can't make their determination on this, it would just be a long, drawn-out affair for the owner, that's for sure. I personally, as long as the construction was satisfied.
Yes.
I
Yes.
personally would like to set up a public hearing, and
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate, and also a chance to go out and just eyeball it, and so we
Yeah.
have.
I do have one more question, though. On the, I don't know if anybody can see, but on the top of the schematic here, there looks like it's a shed or some other
Yeah.
Yes, I
accessory
have
structure.
it says existing
25
shed.
square feet for some equipment, 185 square feet for the shed and an apron around it. That's part of my calculations.
Was that shed there?
I did not see.
The shed was there, it was there for years. I don't remember, I think it appeared in 2000. The only thing that didn't appear in 2000 was the roundish patio and the patio between that extension.
Yes.
There was always a little patio behind the garage.
The shed, I did not see anything in the past, since 2020, about that,
Well,
about that shed, about the 185 square feet. But I do know that the permit was required, because it's over 64, and it was over 100 square feet, so it should have had a planning board approval also, I believe.
So there's no permit on that?
But it might not need a permit, because my 185 square feet also includes paving around the shed.
Oh.
The shed itself
Might be smaller,
is smaller, it's probably closer to 100 square feet.
okay, but
I could be more clearer on that. I have the measurements, but
64 or over, it still required a permit.
Right.
Through the village code. Right. For zoning.
Oh, that's the only questions I have.
Yeah, if you have
Yeah,
any
yeah,
other
no, I
questions.
appreciate it.
the shed's 10 by 10. It's a little,
Just
10 by 10's 100, okay. So,
So all you need for that is a permit.
It required a permit after 64 square feet, and after 100.
Is that what it is now, 64 square feet?
Yes, it's been 64, that I could find in our records.
Okay.
Once it becomes 100 square foot or more, it requires planning board approval for a shed.
What's she do?
Well, I could measure it more carefully, but I think it's a little over 100. It's not, I couldn't possibly find 99 square feet, because one of my dimensions is 10'3", the other one says 10'1".
So John, he does have the correct setbacks, the 4 and the 3 minimally for the shed and the patio. I believe it looked like that when I was there. I didn't measure it.
Yeah.
I think it was more.
I didn't address that. As an accessory structures, setback 10 feet.
It's actually for a shed under zoning, it's a 4 rear, 3 side.
Oh, it
I know
meets
he has
that.
that. I think he has that.
It meets that, absolutely.
So he has it on the survey, maybe possibly acquire a permit for that to legalize it, so to say. So
Yeah,
it's
just to clean up the
documented,
records,
clean up the
get
records.
everything.
And he has the setbacks from what I had seen, the 4 and the 3 for that structure. And that was from 2000. It was pre.
It's been there since 2000.
Yes.
All right. Normally, the board will make a site visit.
I understand he's available Monday and Wednesday and after lunch, but not later than 2, I was told, if possible.
Okay. Stephanie, are you on? I see your name.
Yes, I am.
Okay, Stephanie, I've just taken a couple classes recently on zoning, and they alluded to the fact that the members could not go as a group to do site inspections. Do you know anything about that?
I have never heard that.
Me neither.
heard
We've
that.
never not done that, but I don't know if it's a new law that was passed. Have you heard anything?
I mean, Gary, I think, unless there's a new law and I can look into it for you, but I think that the thought is, because people get this wrong all the time, like you three
Discuss it.
could go to a class together in a car, right? Everybody says, no, that's a quorum, unless you're conducting business. So if you do a site visit and you're not discussing it with one another and figuring out how you're gonna rule on this and what you see, you're doing a site visit, you're looking, keeping your thoughts to yourself, come back. In my opinion, it's not illegal and it's not a quorum because you're not doing business.
Well, I
I will
certainly,
look into, if you think you just took a class that alluded to the fact that I'm incorrect, I will certainly look it up.
I'm not saying you're incorrect, but that's what they said during the class. Now, this was a class sponsored through Rockland County, so I don't know if there's something going on over there different than we do, but like I said, for all the years I've been involved, we always did site visits as a unit, if you will, as a board.
Yeah, I would think even for the property owner or the applicant, it would be a little bit arduous to ask somebody to make themselves available 5 different times for 5 different members.
I have no problem, but I just wanted to kind of cover that, just in case. Thank you, Stephanie.
Sure. Also, can I just ask a question? I know it's not the public hearing. We're talking about, who is suggesting that this is a pre-existing non-conforming lot? Is that part of this discussion tonight?
Well, that was my, John Lentini here, Stephanie. I just
Hi.
thought it might fall into that category, because it is pre-existing, it is non-conforming, and I'm not sure how else that rule
No,
was.
it's not non-conforming. The house was built to code when it was built.
Well, the pool was built non-conforming.
It was over.
Okay, but that doesn't make it a well, I should say, like, it doesn't make it like 1951 or
Right.
before.
Right.
Understood.
That's the key to
Okay.
non-conforming,
Yes.
is if it's
Yes.
Yeah, it's when zoning
pre-zoning.
comes into effect.
As long as it
Okay.
was during a zoning thing, it's not.
Yeah.
And it was done properly, it's not.
Okay.
And one other thing, just let me clarify, we're looking for a variance from 30% lot coverage to 37, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
And the pool, 8% to 9%.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
So, do we want to pick a date that we could go site visit?
We typically pick the Saturdays before
The next meeting?
the next meeting.
And I don't know, somebody stole the calendar off there, it was there for 100 years. That's how I always look to find out. So help me out next month.
What do you, the meeting will be on the 8th.
Saturday before that,
Would be the 4th.
4th, okay,
Actually, the 4th is not a good day for me.
okay.
Not unless it was very early,
What do you mean very early?
about 9.
Oh, in the
9
morning?
o'clock,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, we could do that. I won't want to kill my day either, I'm with you.
Yeah, well, I'm going Yankee game, so
Oh,
I wanna.
Oh, you can't go, give me the ticket.
Uh,
I can do that. June 4th, 9 AM? Perfect.
Yes, I'm saying yes.
Site.
Okay, so we'll set a site visit for June 4th at 9 AM. And then I would take a motion to set a public hearing for the next meeting.
I move to set this matter down for a public hearing for June the 8th, 2022.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So Sharon or Cindy, will you let him know he's got to do the cards? Because Rosemary always did that, so I'm just assuming you guys are doing that now, okay? And Stephanie, you'll make up does she have to make up the sign for the property? Okay.
No, I'll
You have to publish it.
That's a legal notice.
Yeah, she has to publish it in the paper.
Probably by noon tomorrow, the legal notice will be up with Sharon.
Okay,
That's it.
cool. Okay,
Hey, thank you very much.
thank you, Mr. Lentini.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
So if we have nothing else to come before the meeting, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you all.